Welcome to this microdegree introduction. We are at the Estonian Business School and we're looking at the microdegree called Digital Product Operations and Process Management. My name is Marko Rillo and I'm here today to discuss with Mart Parve. Welcome, Mart.
Hi.
And with Eveli Karner. Hello, Eveli.
Hello, Marko.
And in this microdegree, we have the opportunity to jump into the details of managing operations and data in the field of digital products. And before we do that, it would be lovely to get to know you a bit better. So can I start with you, Eveli? So can you tell us a little bit about the background? What have you done before coming here as a lecturer who teaches your skills to others? So what have you done in your career previously?
Yes, well, shortly, I have over 20 years of experience leading teams, project programs, or just large-scale transformations across different sectors, telecommunication, healthcare, and also public sector. So last 10 years, plus years, I've been working for the IT and technology and been in the roles of team lead for the product owners, development process manager, agile release train engineer, so applying the scaled agile framework, and also heading the whole IT product and systems process framework in Telia.
Okay.
And currently I'm also helping other technology and engineering technology leaders and engineering managers to figure out their people skills in management as well as way of working. So here I am like that.
Okay, wonderful. Great to have you here. And just to maybe dig in the details a little bit. So you have both the technical background in this field, but you also have people background. So how do you combine these two?
Again, you can know a lot about technology. You can know a lot about technical frameworks, agile methodologies, frameworks, but in the end, who does the work? People and the teams. Now, of course, the AI agents as well. However, you really need to have this good grasp of people knowledge and how to coach them through those obstacles they might have. So I try to balance really this looking into the side, let's say looking from the side, how people can maximize their part in this development process.
All right, thank you. And Mart, can you introduce yourself as well? So what's your background in the field of technology, managing people, managing data?
My sort of relationship with technology began around 1987 when I started writing code. I was about 10 years of age then, and somehow I didn't end up in engineering myself. I became a technology journalist, did that for a good 10 years or something like that, after which sort of I not only wanted to talk about the digital products, but also build some. And after that, I've been working with digital products in various capacities for actually, 20 years. At companies like Bolt, Miros, some other technology companies. Currently, I'm working with a number of companies in mainly two realms. It's building products for engineers that write code. So engineers have sort of their work has been writing code, but now engineers are more and more building products that write code on their behalf. So this is something I'm dealing with, and also building AI native services for different companies. Besides that, I'm also a teacher at a high school, Püha Johannese Gymnasium, St. John's School in English, where I'm teaching storytelling with data. So this is about data analytics and how to materialize interesting, engaging, and sort of like messaging based on data that conveys meaning and helps like make good decisions and have influence with that.
That's really interesting, because usually when we are talking about making sense of data, even grown-ups, even experienced managers are slightly struggling. But what you're doing is essentially teaching this already in high school, in secondary school.
This is an IT specialization class at this school, and they want to equip the students with a broad understanding how this game is played, and data is definitely a piece on this game board now, and they have other domains like project management, coding, whatnot, and they see data as one important factor in this game. And so,
right. So that's really interesting aspect to bring into play. So what can we learn by teaching youngsters also to teaching professionals? So we'll see how it happens. But let's now jump and dive right in. So we have all seen projects and products succeed. We have seen the digital products fail as well. So what are the main reasons why we are struggling with managing digital products? So Eveli, would you like to start on that one?
I think every product management and journey is rather different. However, there are some things I'd love to point out. When you scale your processes and your product development, then what is exactly the stage where you decide that, okay, current way of working or current agreements, how we work, are not working anymore for us? So figuring out how to scale then, and what to take as baseline also, and what to start implementing. I think this is something I see, at least in my consulting business a bit, that everything seems to be logical, yeah? We just kind of go on the road. We either take Scrum or we don't take Scrum. We either think we do Agile, and we just kind of go. And there's a lot of missing knowledge how these frameworks, concepts and methodologies were supposed to be actually used in the development process. So everybody kind of skips doing by the book and just does something. So this is actually one of my goals with this micro degree, to give a good overview of these concepts, methods and methodologies, and then figure out with real cases, how do we apply them in real life.
But let's push you a little bit on this one, because there are these different frameworks available, and there are some schools of thought where people essentially say that this one is the best framework for whatever reasons, and they have usually their reasons, they have their experience. And then somebody else is arguing exactly for the opposite. So how do you actually, ensure that you have the best tools for the trade, and how do you differentiate between them?
This is exactly what we will actually look into in the micro degree. Because with case studies available, from my experience, we will have some guest lectures as well, and I hope to also include the participants' cases. We will figure out, based on the theories and studies of these frameworks, how should we think of adopting them, what to consider. So the micro degree will be really about kind of this system thinking, critical thinking, what to take into consideration when deciding which way to go and what actually to skip also.
All right. Mart, what is your take on this? So where do products fail and what can be done about this?
So if I had a penny for every time someone asks me why this product engineering team is not delivering, I would have about 8 to 10 pennies now. And so when I had less experience, then I went in and started really heavily diagnosing the engineering and product function, probably there is something really complex going on here. But at some point I discovered, when I just walk up to any engineer and ask, I have 2 questions. What are you doing now? And second question, why are you doing that? And if the first answer is vague and all over the place, and the second question is lacking or comes without enthusiasm and full comprehension, then usually there is no point in investigating further, because they aren't doing a great job, because they don't understand what is expected from them. So and what they should do and why they should do it. And now, tooting my own horn here, this is where data can help immensely. So we can see the delivery cycle, one way of abstraction is that we have the insights part. So like, how do we obtain the information regards what we're gonna do? Then we have the direction part. How do we distill these insights into what it is, like how good looks like or how success looks like for us? Then it's the execution phase, and then of course the learning phase of the life cycle. And now data helps immensely to collect insights, distill insights, and then formulate directions that are not just words, but that instill belief and understanding in your team. When you have this direction and the train is not moving fast enough, then there is a reason to look deeper into the processes. And I'm not downplaying the processes, but very often when you ask me what is blocking delivery, it is very often a direction thing.
The clarity of the vision, and so that everyone is kind of aligned. The product managers, the dev teams, the stakeholders. So true. No judgment, I would call it. This is why I love data really a lot, and transparency. With judgments and arguments without data, you can basically say anything and the loudest voice wins, yeah? But is it that?
And they are saying anything, by the way, in practice. And when you are, for instance, just like you are a product manager, you are an engineer, you just like want to like deliver impact. And there are so many confusing and differing voices around you, and then you sit down and start doing something. So either good momentum in this situation, and now when we go one level above that, we need to have orchestration of the functions. So I'm building this, you're gonna do marketing for this, you're gonna do customer support. So do we understand what is it? Like, do we have a mutual understanding what it is we are doing and why it matters? And if that's not there, yeah.
Okay, but let's dig here a little bit deeper, because when it comes to data, well, when we are talking about technology-oriented companies, we have loads of data, so we can analyze everything. So we have a mountain of this kind of data that you can take into consideration. So there are some companies which get swamped into this load of information that they are under. But then there are some other companies which choose a particular North Star, and they simply say that, well, we are essentially focusing on that one only. And so where's the best balance here? So, or can we say something like this? So how do you make sense of something which is really confusing, or how do you make sure that, well, this one chosen North Star is not, well, leading us to a wrong direction? Maybe it's just a blink somewhere which is not correct, which is just distracting us.
Yeah, I think one should be really careful when selecting a North Star, because like then your best bet and biggest hope is that this North Star moved in the direction you expect it to move. And if you then don't like this situation, then there is like not many people to blame for that. But on the other hand, in order to come up with a good metrics framework, you need to have quite good data granularity, especially when the business or technology sophistication goes up. You oftentimes don't know what are the leading metrics under this North Star, and there is quite a bit of exploration to be done to really discover good data signal and the data availability, data accessibility, the data user friendliness, so that there is, for instance, self-service in terms of how the organization gets to consume the data, is actually quite important in the exploratory phase to find these signals in the first place.
Mm-hmm. And from the product management delivery framework side, I would say that if you have in place how you take this quantitative data and mix it also with the qualitative data and have this kind of, you can call them retros, you can call them sense-making sessions, you can call them inspect and adapt, whatever you are calling them, you just need this time. Okay, the data is showing us this. What are we thinking about it? Mm-hmm. Just having this pause to reflect, make sense of it, and figure out that are we still keeping the North Star? Okay. How much are we risking? How much are we risking for 1 month more? Kind of having this really pause to think. is, I think, very important in this sense.
And what you mentioned around correlating or comparing the qualitative and quantitative data, because it's like often cases the quantitative data, yes, it's facts, but how to make sense of these facts, and quite often you need to have a human aspect and sometimes even intuitive aspect on top of the quantitative data to even understand like what it means. Reminds me an example. At Bolt, we were looking at how African business customers are consuming ride-hailing, and discovered weird signals from data, but like weren't able to comprehend what's going on there until we spoke to actual African customers, and they explained how they perceive this and what are their main anxieties and concerns about these products. Because from Estonia, making assumptions what this data might mean in the context of culturally quite different users, very hard.
It points actually to a very great stuff about scaling products and scaling product delivery frameworks, that when you have multiple teams, multiple locations, different regions coming in, you need to have this different coordination mechanism, as well as these inspect and adapt stuff in order to understand what is going on with the product and product delivery.
Right, absolutely. Thank you. So let's now deep into the particular courses. So Eveli, can we start with you? So your course is called Product Management Operations, Agile Tools and Frameworks. So what is your plan? So what do you plan to discuss in this course? So when somebody contemplates joining the micro degree and coming to participate in this course, what are they expected to know before coming to this program? What do you deliver to them, and what is the expectation that what have they gained by the end of this course?
What are they expected to know before? I'm sure we can onboard someone who hasn't been that much into the delivery frameworks before. So I think this is not a problem how much experience you have beforehand. But let's see. The plan currently is that we'll give a really good view of different operational frameworks.
Can you bring an example?
Agile frameworks, we'll go over Scrum, we'll see when do you apply Kanban, we'll see if you scale the product, in what cases it's logical and it really makes sense to, for example, look into the large scale Scrum, in which cases if you're already a huge organization, if it really makes sense to apply scaled Agile framework. We'll look also into team topologies, that looks into how the teams are actually organized in order to deliver value. So the idea is actually to kind of give a good theoretical and study background of this stuff, bring in real life cases, bring in guests and really do with a group work and group coaching style of learning, to have the understanding, if I am now the product manager and I will not only have one team, but I have several, and the product is growing, what do I need to know of these delivery frameworks? If I need to adopt a framework, what should I really consider when I do it? And what is my, as a product manager, role in this backlog management, if I have a lot of teams, multi-team planning, dependency ownership, and we'll look also what is the data actually that is showing us how is the delivery framework itself working, in addition to the product that is more like Mart's parts. So what the person is expected to receive is really the good understanding of these operational frameworks and a lot of critical thinking, how to apply them in the future. And what I'm myself really looking forward to is that, of course, today there is a lot of AI agentic ways of working coming in. And like last week, I was reading that the Microsoft product team was offering a human AI agentic manifesto. So we used to have an Agile manifesto. So I'm really curious, where will we be with this in half a year's time? Because the micro degree will be in January, starting January, yeah?
Indeed.
2027. So we'll definitely include something from this innovative side of product development frameworks with AI agents. So we'll see where we are in half a year's time.
Okay, all right. So let's see how we can evolve and then learn also something new. Thank you. So Mart, can we come to you as well? So your course is called Analytics and Data-Driven Decision Making. So again, the same kind of questions. So what do we expect somebody needs to know before coming to this course? So what do they gain and what's the outcome that they receive by the end of this course?
The scope of the course is to equip the participants with the know-how around data analytics and data-driven decision-making to the extent it's expected from and required from product managers. So then you would be able to sort of perform the capabilities that everyone else from the organization would legitimately expect from you. Now, what would this cover? The main methods of product analytics. There are analysis methods that are quite well spread and standardized, and we start by understanding how digital products are measured in the first place and how they are tracked and how they are analyzed. Probably we will also cover the data engineering part broadly, so that if it happens that in your organization data is not available, then you at least know what to ask from engineering. Could be useful. Now, I hope to blend in practical use scenarios, especially when the students already join with their group assignments or their actual projects. And of course, we will factor in the data communication or the storytelling with data, because numbers are hard. There are many numbers in the universe, and presenting them in a way that it generates influence, alignment, and manages to convey actual meaning is something to be deliberate and methodical about.
Okay. Can I ask you to maybe elaborate some practical examples or stories from your own experience on how data has come up with some counterintuitive or surprising results, so which probably is not something that people have in their own mind. So maybe this kind of surprises might also treat people by thinking that, well, the truth is not always out there, which is intuitive.
Now, thinking about it, I recall a story where there was some anxiety around customer support performing maybe on a subpar level. Yeah, and so there was an idea to start actually correlating or analyzing what is the effect on customer retention and revenue per user in case of relatively unhappy customer support cases, so customers being dissatisfied. And then it was discovered that actually the effect of having a negative experience doesn't have much influence on the revenue per user, and it was decided not to invest in that. And now I think this is a recurring story in product management. There is some common intuition that everything that is there must be improved. So this company had customer support. So this customer support sometimes failed, but it didn't fail 100%. There was customer support. And now when doing product management or technology management, you discover that there is some legitimate seeming pressure on you from all sides. You have something, why is it so bad? Make it better. But now I could make everything better around me. So how do I pick at which segment I actually focus on, because I could try to improve all of them, but then eventually none of them would be really improved. So in this case, it was decided based on evidence that the customer support function is not the most impactful investment vehicle in order to increase actually customer outcomes.
Okay, so basically hard data telling us a story that it's okay to be good enough and it's okay not to try to reach for excellence in all the areas.
And imagine how it also helps to sell and propagate the idea. I mean, using data, how it helps to propagate the idea in the organization, because like if these people were not equipped with data, then going around in the company and explaining that customer support, like you don't need to improve customer support, this like probably would not be met in a well-spirited way. Let's put it this way. But with data, it sort of makes sense.
Okay, all right. So yes, it's great that we have the bad customer support because the data supports it. So just to put it into hyperbole a little bit. All right, thank you. Eveli, do you also have, from your experience, some surprising stories that you can tell in terms of, well, how the agile frameworks or any kind of surprises have emerged, or what have you learned as a result?
Actually, I was listening to Mart and I remembered that I have had the case where the product management was really, let's say, attacking even dev teams that they are so slow, that their cycle time is so slow, that the feature lead time is so bad. And what we did was that we actually mapped the work and mapped the flow and then mapped also what happened with the development. And it turned out that actually the maximum waiting time and delays were coming from the product management side, because their original business case needed improvement. Some requirements were needing also kind of rethinking. It's all normal to have it in the development. However, it took them a lot of time, and the developers were already working and they were actually waiting for these answers. So in real life, the feature lead time was mostly influenced by the work of the product management, not the development team themselves. So it was kind of a, let's say, painful aha moment, but we got through it, and cooperation went really well after that, because all kind of realized that they all have the parts to play in the success of the product delivery.
Excellent, and this is something that you can only hear from practitioner stories, because there is no textbook covering this case, because textbooks are usually mostly around happy cases, and this is an excellent solution, and also an example how data doesn't have to come from data warehouse. Evidence and data is actually around us. It's a matter of spotting it and understanding what matters in this this decision, in this conflict or conflict or whatever subject matter you have.
Absolutely. All right, thank you for sharing these stories. And also looking into the mirror sometimes helps then also seeing that, well, where are the possibilities for improvement? Okay, so by the end of this micro degree, what the participants should have is some sort of 12-month roadmap, strategic roadmap that they have in place in order to understand how to better manage their teams, how to better manage their products, how to handle data. So what is something that they would have actually obtained? So what's the skill that they have in terms of managing these product ops or product operations? So what is valuable that they leave from the program?
It's mostly, I think, the know-how around how data is obtained, how it's processed, how it's worked with, how it's used in communication, so that the student understands what is the game and how this data game is played, and the natural instinct or intuition to always be on a lookout. What is the evidence and data that exists or can potentially exist about this important decision or question, and then being able to find the data, use it, formulate it, and then use it effectively in communication to drive change.
Mm-hmm.
And Eveli?
I hope they really gained this experience that roadmaps are dynamic and they are changing roadmaps, and it's really normal to have changing roadmaps in the future as well. I hope they really gain the understanding how they see, run and manage dependencies, and figure out also the ownership of the dependencies, for example, and ownership of the final product, because it's very often with the prototype, everyone is happy how it looks, but who owns in the end the final live product as well? So that they have this full understanding of this end-to-end product operations and deliveries.
All right. So before we wrap up, what would be your final message to somebody who is contemplating about, well, whether to join this program, whether to think about, in order to reduce their anxiety, decision anxiety, and also to encourage them somehow think about these topics? What can they do?
I have a relatively recent experience with EBS myself, having obtained the diploma in executive coaching. I think it was last year, and which is not often advertised and maybe not often acknowledged beforehand, is the value that the other students bring to the table, because I think I learned approximately as much from other students compared to the actual program. And considering the contents of this course, this is a fairly specific course, and you might expect like-minded people to gather around this opportunity, and I have a hunch that this will be an immensely valuable bunch of people to know and to learn from.
Mm-hmm. I would actually follow with that because I'm a maximizer of kind of people and their skills myself as a leader, and I love to bring everyone's experience on the table and top it out with my own and the guests joining also the program. I would also advocate that I'm rather curious how to make it like a good balance of theory, studies, and the practice, and how to be really adaptive also with this everything going on. So in a way, I truly hope that it will be a very good mix of these two, as well as getting this sense of what is actually happening with this AI agentic stuff coming also in, because this would be a kind of a good sense making together with the really theoretical and practical knowledge together.
All right. Thank you very much, Eveli. Thank you very much, Mart. So this was the video about the microdegree on digital product operations and process management here at the Estonian Business School MBA program focusing on digital product management. We hope to see you all at the program.